Good morning. Hopefully you had a wonderful vacation. Rested a lot and now we're back to work. I'm going to give you a review of everything we did on Friday, which is a minimum day, but we accomplished a lot and we were trying to do a lot. And then I'm going to explain to you what you need to do for the remainder of this period. It's going to be mostly individual work and you're going to have to stay focused. You will be in a situation where you're probably going to have to check with your neighbor and if you need to communicate with one person as to clarification of what we're trying to accomplish, I have no problem with that. But I need these paragraphs or this assignment finished today because tomorrow you're going to do the very same thing, but you're going to be creating your own topic sentences as well as your major points 1 and major points 2, which I did for you the first time, but that should serve as a good model or example for you while you're creating your own analytical paragraph tomorrow. Okay, so our objective for today is by the end of this period, students will be able to extend paragraphs using 3 different techniques. The techniques that we're working on are examples, definition, and then today, which will be a new one, is I'm going to show you how to weave a compare and contrast technique into your paragraph for extension. Examples are pretty standard because most of the time when you're citing textual evidence or selecting quotes, you're looking for examples from the text. So that's something that we can use almost in conjunction with these two. So if you're doing definition, which we did on Friday, and we identified strange from the Longman Dictionary, and just put the actual definition in there, and then that gives us a little more meat to our paragraph, as well as gives you a little more concrete information. But with that definition, then you can put examples after the definition, and it helps to extend the paragraph. You can do the same thing kind of with compare and contrast, but we're going to get to that when we go over the assignment for today. First, I need to do a little bit of review because I know a lot of you were absent on Friday. Okay? Okay, so on Friday, this is what we had. We had a topic sentence. In this exercise, the topic sentence is pretty much going to function like your thesis, okay? This is the I do part of it because this time I'm writing the topic sentences as well as the major points 1 and major points 2 for you. Tomorrow, I'm going to have you try to construct your own topic sentence in major point 1 and major point 2 on a different subject or a different story or maybe the same story. We'll see what I put together. But looking at this sentence right here, we have a couple of interesting things that are going on. First, Edgar Allan Poe. So we're starting with the author. In the Fall of the House of Usher. Then the title. Utilizes complex diction and elongated syntax to convey an uncomfortable tone to his readers. One thing we highlighted was we looked at utilizes. And like I said on Friday, if I'm marking on this and I'm putting different highlights or I'm circling things, that's what we're going to call annotating. I'm annotating the text to highlight that to you. You don't necessarily have to copy those annotations on your paper. If they help you and help it stand out for you and you gain meaning from it, then by all means, I encourage you to make the marks on your paper. Either way, you're not going to be counted off if it's on your paper. At this point, I'm not asking you to do it. Eventually, we'll get to a point where we're annotating texts. Okay, Edgar Allan Poe, in The Fall of the House of Usher, utilizes complex diction, elongated syntax, to convey an uncomfortable tone to his readers. The other thing we talked about on Friday was look at how many vocabulary words are on here. Look, we have diction, we have syntax, we have tone. These are all academic vocabulary that are specific to English language arts, what we call our Tier 1 words, which we spend a lot of time on. And we spend a lot of time on those because you need to start putting those into your papers. It's going to make your papers stand out a lot better. Now, when we do that, these 3 words here, we have to remember they're all nouns. Person, place, thing, or idea. When we put nouns into our thesis or into our topic sentences, what we need to do is we need to make sure that we modify them with appropriate adjectives. So we have complex diction, we have elongated syntax, and we have uncomfortable tone. Now, I came up with complex diction, elongated syntax, and uncomfortable tone. There are many different combinations of words that you can put into your thesis and modify diction, tone, and syntax with. We'll be working on those tier 2 words this second quarter so that you can modify them appropriately to the task or to the story or to the narrative or to the magazine article, whatever you might be reading at that time. Okay, so that was our topic sentence. All you had to do is copy that on your paper. If you don't have that on your paper, you were absent on Friday, it's going to be on the sideboard, as well as someone, your neighbor may have it when we get to classwork time. Now we get to major point 1. Poe employs, and remember we're using the author's last name first of all, okay? Don't say Edgar. You need to put Poe. Poe employs, and that's another power verb. We know a couple now. We know employs and we know utilizes. Instead of saying uses, I don't want you to ever use uses anymore. That's an illegal word. No uses. Strike that from the vocabulary. We're going to use better words like employs or utilizes. Poe employs words such as importunate, equivocal, and munificent to create an atmosphere of the strange and unknown to his audience. Okay? We honed in and we focused on this word strange because that's part of our claim. And you're actually giving some examples here in your topic sentences, but you're saying that, hey, he made the story very awkward for the reader to read just by using bigger vocabulary words. Strange and unknown. So what we did to extend our paragraph, because that's one of the things that you guys were saying you had difficulties with, is we used a definition. Longman identifies strange as, and then we looked up strange, put the definition in there. Then you may have a transitional sentence where you're explaining your definition of strange and how that relates to the story. Here's one I just made up. You don't have to have exactly this. I do not want you to write this on your paper. This is only an example. Poe strings many complicated words together to produce a division or strange quality between his audience and the narrative. Narrative we're using as story. It just sounds a little bit better to me. Narrative. Nice little synonym you can use as well. Okay, then we extended providing examples. When we're extending providing examples, one thing with your quotes on that first paper from the Crucible, they were very long. What I don't want is I don't want long quotes that have needless words in it. I want purposeful quotes, no more than 5 words. So no more than 5 words should be used per quote. And this is going, when you're using that, you understand you're chopping off parts of the sentence. When you chop off parts of the sentences, you have to use the ellipses or the 3 little dots before or after, depending on what part you're taking. And we can work on that in the future as well. So extend using examples. An easy way to start this is for example, and then find an example from the text and drop it in there, or weave it in there moreover. To include more examples, use transition words that indicate more information is coming, such as furthermore or moreover. So if you had 3 sentences, because the more examples you give, the better. If you had 2 or 3 sentences of examples, you could say, for example, put your quote in, furthermore, then weave another one in, moreover, weave another one in. Now, in addition to, that's something I have problems with a lot, is because when people use in addition to, you need to have something that you're saying it's in addition to. So, in addition to words such as the mentioned above, then I could continue with it. But don't just put in addition to and drop something in there, or else it's not going to grammatically work so well. Okay? That should be the review part of it. At this point, I want you to get out 3 papers. You're going to get out the paragraph examples paper. You're going to get out how to weave quotes paper. And the teacher or substitute is going to pass out the transition word list to you. So what you're going to have is on your desk, you're going to have 3 different papers and then your own paper that you're writing on. You're going to have paragraph examples, you're going to have how to weave quotes, and you're going to have transition words. And this is where it gets not complicated, but your job really is to pull from all 3 things. Pull from this, and pull from this, and create a well-crafted paragraph. And understand this is a slow process. That's why we're just working on a paragraph. We're not working on an essay. We're not working on anything 1,500, 2,000 words. We're just trying to do a 1-page paragraph that holds together and is well developed. Okay, so I'm going to give you about a minute to do that. Ready? First part go. And this part. If you were only there on Friday, then you're going to iron out this part, and then hopefully you can help people that weren't here on Friday get caught up or be editors. Whatever we're doing, we need to be very focused and we need to behave correctly as if I'm in the room, because I'm taking the time to create these so that hopefully we don't lose any valuable time and we can continue learning. Major point 2. We're still at we do because I'm developing this topic sentence for you, or this major point 2 for you. Now I put furthermore on there, but if you already use that in the paragraph, then you're just going to pretty much take that out, and then you can put the author, or you could put Poe. I'll leave that up to you, whichever way you want to introduce the author. Develops his sentences with an ornate, winding structure that further complicates and mystifies his readers. So now what we're trying to do is we're going to try to prove that he uses long or winding sentence structures. Now, where I had you look and make sure that you were only using 5 words per quote, this is going to be pretty much the opposite, because you're trying to prove that he uses long quotes. So you're going to obviously select some long quotes to put in there. You're going to extend with compare and contrast, and examples from both Poe and Miller's Crucible, because we just finished reading the Crucible. You also could go back and you could do things from the Origin Myths if you choose, but I bet you that the Crucible will be the easier task because it's a play, and usually in plays you have a lot of short lines because the characters are talking back and forth through dialogue. Okay, sentence 2 of major point 2. So you have this as your major point sentence. Then you're going to have this. Previous readings performed in class include Arthur Miller's Crucible. Miller employed short sentences in the form of dialogue to build drama and meaning. Then what you need to do, your task after this, is you're going to find me 2 quotes from Miller's Crucible, and these will be short, that prove that he's using short, meaningful quotes. And they should have some tension in there, or they should have some drama in there, or should have some kind of emotion in there, so that we can tell that that's a powerful charge of language. That's going to be kind of the difficult part of the task, is to locate a quote in the Crucible that's short and powerful. Then use 2 quotes from Poe's Usher. These will be long. So really you've got a paragraph with these 2 sentences. It should start out, furthermore, or the author develops his sentences with an ornate winding structure that further complicates and mystifies his readers. Previous readings performed in this class include Arthur Miller's Crucible. Miller employed short sentences in the form of dialogue to build drama and meaning. For example, or such as, figure out how you're going to weave that next quote in there, and from that, you're probably going to have to go to how to weave quotes handout and look at that, and figure out how you can put a couple quotes in there from Miller's Crucible, and then introduce 2 quotes from Poe's Usher that are really long. So by showing showing the reader the 2 short quotes, and then showing the 2 long quotes, and then a little bit of the explanation on why he's doing this. And of course, in our topic sentence or major point 2, we can say he's mystifying his readers. Right there. You should be able to form out a second paragraph. Hopefully everyone understands that. What you need to have when you walk in class tomorrow is you need a produced 1-page or 1.5 page. If you're writing it, it may be a front and a back. You have to have 1 complete paragraph in your best handwriting written. And it's got to have all 3 of those things in there. If we go back to the objectives, you need to have paragraph extension with examples. You need to have paragraph extension with definition, which was performed Friday. That should have all be done. If you weren't here, you have to do that for makeup work. And then you need to have the compare and contrast section in it. You have all 3 of those things done in 1 complete paragraph, we're good for the next day, because next day we're going to work on those topic sentences in major points 1 and major points 2, as well as a small editing exercise. I will post this video on www.yourfingerspeak.com. So if you get confused tonight, you can look it up on your phone, or you can look it up somewhere else on your computer, and you'll be able to watch this over and over and over again, because I know that's what you like to do, is watch YouTube videos. All right, hopefully you have a good day. The sub has my cell phone number, so if there's any questions or concerns, he or she is going to be readily available to call me. At this point,